So I just moved to a new house. There's the car. Now I got a much bigger shop to work with. But just got a big milestone today. So I have this mocked up to make sure all my wiring's correct. So I got those 4 modules, which would be in the trunk, and these 2, which would be under the hood. So this is my main negative. I've got my bus bars hooked up. Main negative goes to the controller. And then this little wire here is simulating the high voltage. It would be just as thick as this wire that would run from the positive of the front pack to the negative of the rear pack. And then like so, I have them all seriesed up. All these modules have been balanced now. They're all at 28.86 volts. So that's why I hooked them all up now in series. I'm happy with where they're at. And so I have about 137 volts. So the series goes all the way up. And then I got my main positive here. So between main negative, main positive, I have 137 volts. The controller switched on. I have to run an external 12 volt power source now, because the 130 volts would fry the boards on board for reading the contactors and voltages and whatnot. So this 12 volt power source for the box will actually be the accessory 12 volt battery that's in the car. I just have a mock battery now. So this is all fully functional now. Another thing is these are the EV-TV harnesses. So I had a 4 module and a 2 module. And really what I wanted was a 4 module extension and a 2 module extension. But what I had to do is I had to do a whole bunch of chopping. So the end of the cable starts here, 1, 2, and then I made my own connector to split and chop it. 3, 4, another connector, and then this long gray cable would run through the cab from the rear pack to the front pack. Then I have another 1, 2 to here. And then this is a stock 4-foot extension that runs into the controller. So the cell voltages come through these data cables, and so does the temperature. 8C, that aligns with what it is outside, so I know all that's correct. So I'm clicking the cell voltages, and you can see these 5 modules are all dead balanced. This one is a little wonky. So I want to figure out what is number 2. My guess is it is this one here that had the damage to it. It's probably a little out of balance. But if this sits for a while, this board should do the work it's designed to do and bleed off and balance those cells properly. So maybe if it sits for a while, that will work. And again, this is not connected to the box here at all. These are both being powered off of an independent outlet here, communicating via Wi-Fi over here. So the box is sending all of its information to here. And this is what I will see on my dash. It's showing 100.5% state of charge. That's not accurate. I can go in there and program it to be what it actually should right now, according to the 3.8. I'll compare that back to the chart, and I'll calibrate it to be, say it's 68%. That's what I'll set it at so that it's accurate for when I'm charging and discharging. But overall, this is awesome. Obviously right now, since I have this little skimpy wire running between the two of them, I can't run any sort of power. But I just wanted to put all this together and make sure all my wiring was correct, since I did a bunch of chopping and putting in new cables and whatnot to extend these properly. But it's all good. So this is awesome. Now I can load them up in the car. For the front battery here under the hood, for passing the main negative and the main positive through the wall, I milled out a pocket. Then I put rubber trim all around to ensure that the bus bar going through doesn't conduct through the wall. So here you can see my bus bar passing through the wall. So my main current negative current sensor going to the ESP32 box will go right here. So not the best practice. It would definitely be better to have some sort of pass-through panel connector, but I have like a 1/4 inch, so I don't have space at all to do a panel connector. So for what I'm doing, this will work well enough. Here's the 2 modules in the front complete. I got the main negative bus bar passing through. I put some heat shrink on it. Same thing with the front positive, which goes to the rear pack negative. And then I cut 2 little holes here in the side to pass through the data extension, and then the data cable that goes to the ESP box. And here's the front box, all finally installed. Now I can hook to everything externally. Took all the stickers off. Looks sweet. So here's all the batteries stacked and installed in the rear. The negative is down in there, which comes from the front positive, and then this is the main pack positive, which will run back to the controller. And here's the data cable sticking out the side here. That will run an extension all the way to the same type connector in the front. You can see I got tons of space over here to add coolant stuff later on if I want to. And there's the rear box, all sealed up and complete. I got my high voltage cables cut to length here, and I'm starting to crimp them. I got this $40 hydraulic crimper. Now this is 2-knot cable, which is about 74 millimeters squared. Oddly enough, with the dies labeled 70, really doesn't crimp it at all. So I gotta go a size down to 50. And it ends up with a really nice hex crimp. I got the high voltage cables all crimped now. This is 2-knot class K. I went with class K mainly because it's got a slightly higher amp rating. I'll have to remember exactly what it is. But mainly because these are it's a thinner wire strand, and these are super flexible. So for routing and getting into bends, this is much more supple. So it's a little more expensive. Still only ended up being about $6 a foot, but I'm happy with it.